it seems like Black folks, especially Black women and Black trans women, have always been on the front lines for everybody else. Why? We're over here trying to save the world. Can we get some help? Are y'all frustrated by this as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the proximity to whiteness and privilege or white supremacy. So again, if we look at the hierarchy of white supremacy, you are the most supreme white when you are a straight white male. Next in line is the straight white woman. So that's why she is right behind them on all of those decisions, because she's next in line for everything to benefit from all of that stuff. But wait, there's more, because what happens is they keeps on trickling down, and even the same question you're asking about white women is what we're asking now about Black cis women and Black cis men about like, why has it taken you so long? And it's because, again, there is a certain level of privilege that has not been identified within Black communities because we experience so much racism and marginalization in the world. But when we go back to our Black community and circles, there's a whole nother hierarchy in place of patriarchy, of misogyny. And when that patriarchy and misogyny, what that does is it not only hurts Black women, it hurts Black trans women, and it hurts our little Black boys who have femininity that show up in them. Like there was a boy, I think it was in Houston, where the parents had killed him because he was like 6 or something because he was gay. So it's all about, why is it now? Is because right now everyone is still holding on to the piece of privilege they got and hoping the revolution don't come to their door. And haven't realized yet that your privilege is not going to protect you. None of your privileges will protect you. So you better get in this game for all of us, or you're going to find yourself on the wrong side of this.
The other piece that I like that you talked about is white supremacy and how that shows up in these ways that we're completely blinded to. And I think one of the biggest challenges with our community is that we keep subscribing to these false notions of Blackness that are often informed by white supremacy. So I remember there was this writer that described it as the ceiling of racism, or no, the roof of racism. And that roof has pillars that hold it up. And transphobia is one of those pillars, and colorism is one of those pillars. And so we continue to access these things because we don't want to talk about the ancestral agony that many of us have never had space to heal from. And so in most spaces, I'm always talking about the fact that we can't heal what we don't reveal. But the bad thing, or the missed opportunity there, is we don't have enough of these spaces like this show. So I'm not willing to drag other Black people, or it's hard to hold other Black people accountable publicly because there are other people who are waiting on the other side to weaponize that against us. And so it's this thing where it's kind of just like figuring out how I can hold you accountable and hold you at the same.
I'm so sorry to cut you off. You're saying some great stuff, and I want you to be able to continue with this. We have to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll pick right back up with you. We'll be back with more on FOXSOUL. Welcome back to Out Loud on FOXSOUL. Now, before we went to break, Ashley was in the middle of a really important thought, and I would like you to have the floor and continue with what you were saying.
I think really what I was trying to underscore is the importance of holding one another accountable and holding each other at the same time. And everything ain't for everybody. So I personally don't feel comfortable holding Black people accountable while the white gaze is saturating the space.
In front of company, right?
Yes, yes. And what really hurts me more than anything, and I'll wrap with this, is that I feel like a lot of times we afford white supremacy much more grace, dignity, and compassion than we afford one another. And that's just something that we have an opportunity to work on, because I actually stopped writing for many of the publications that I used to write for, because there was one week where Drake, Common, LeBron James, Devin Hines, Neo, all these Black men were saying beautiful things about Black trans women. And when I went to actually pitch to publications to write about it, how we were at this like tipping point where these Black strong male figures are challenging, they're resisting this misogynistic culture that continues to inform transphobia and violence that we face. not a single editor wanted to let me write that story. But let Kanye's mental health act up, let R. Kelly pop off and get in Gayle King's face, or let, you know, Little Duval say something, or Dave Chappelle, and they're beating down my inbox. So we have to make sure that we don't allow ourselves to become weapons of white supremacy, and that we don't subscribe to these notions of the whole, you know, black on black violence, because that is true, but that ain't for everybody to.
And let me just quickly add, much like the white women that Claudia referenced who went in the voting booth and voted for Trump, I think the true test is going to be on the other side of this. So the true test for them will be when November rolls around, who they vote for when those numbers roll out. And the true test for a lot of these conversations that we're having with cis people is going to be on the other side of that conversation. Then how will they go out and navigate and advocate and really show up for trans people?
I wish, I love this conversation because we're covering up so many things, but that is definitely a sickness in our community. And again, allowing white supremacy to pit us against each other. Like I often tell my friends, they sit back and laugh at us with our colorism stuff that we do, right? Since a lot of us, our relatives, when we're younger, find you a light-skinned guy or a guy with green eyes, or, you know, the whole paper bag, the brown paper bag. Like we did that. We do
Stay
that.
out the sun. Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
I don't go to the beach because I don't want to get dark. And then if you're light-skinned, oh, you soft, or you're a punk, or you're this and you're, we do that. And they sit back and laugh. I was telling my friend the other day, white folks don't sit there and divide themselves over who's pinker and who's more beige and they don't do that. We do that. And there's a lot of work we got to do because we find a way to divide ourselves so much. And if you've done it before, learn from it and move on. But I absolutely hate doing that. I feel like we do the dirty work, right? We do the work of the white supremacists a lot because we're still sick. We have a long way to go. And I hope these conversations can open up more conversations so we can get there.